Sorry, we're closed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry we're closed. Zoom edition. Last time I think we did Zoom, I think I was in Puerto Rico, if I remember correctly.
I did one on the ski trip.
You did one on the ski trip? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Welcome back. Wi-Fi was tough there, if I remember correctly.
Yes, everything was tough. We're out there in the middle
now,
of
Sean, once again, is away. Sean, this time, however, as you wouldn't be able to guess it from the background, although that's a nice background. Sean's in Nashville.
You might be able to guess it from the background if you could actually see it. Whiskey shot.
Oh yeah, you might be able to guess that. It's a nice little area.
I don't know about the Climax Saloon.
Okay,
what goes on there?
Sean's staying at the Dream in Nashville. Yes. Lovely hotel.
It is lovely. The smell in this hotel is very nice.
You know what I recently saw before we dive into everything? What I recently saw a TikTok commercial of. Was like these diffusers that give you the hotel lobby smell.
That's worth checking out,
isn't it?
It is worth checking out.
The hotel lobby smell is something else, and as like something like Starbucks, they do a ton of research into what like the type of smell they're supposed to have.
I totally believe that. I'd also like to open this podcast up with a little PSA for our lady friends out there. The hats, the flat brim sombreros that these ladies are wearing out there.
Okay.
Gotta go.
Flat brim sombreros. Sean is out on, folks.
It's a very trendy hipster look. I have never seen a single person look good in. They look horrendous.
Yeah, I know what the hats you're talking about. I think
it's an aggressive look. It is like you're going for it. And what I've found here, they're all over Nashville.
I'm not surprised.
And there seems to be like one gal in every group, friend group who's rocking it. And I respect the attempt, because you probably have to work up a little courage to put that thing on. But let's get that courage to put it away for good, because it is the worst. It looks so bad.
I have yet to see a girl pull it off that I've enjoyed. But
you got to be like super famous to wear that. You're trying so hard.
Who comes to mind? There are two girls that come to mind. Who was he was a Patriots. He was a wide receiver in the league.
Okay.
Julian Edelman. He's very handsome.
Julian Edelman.
No. We're close.
Wes Welker.
No, he did play for the Patriots, but for a very short period of time.
One of those like white guy receivers?
Yeah, white guy receivers. But he was bigger. He played for the Titans, and that's when he was really big.
Oh, Eric Decker?
Yes. His wife, Jessie James Decker. I feel like I've seen her wear that. I feel like she's a good.
It's girl. Okay if you're famous. It's like much more manageable if you're famous.
Well, that's the thing. But it's always been the thing. Famous people wear ridiculous shit, and they get away with it because they're famous.
Yeah, no, this is just not something. And even then, it's like wear that to an award show and see if people are in on it. When they're inevitably not, go ahead and put that back in the closet.
Yeah.
Forever.
I got you.
I was just doing a nice thing for the ladies out there to let you know that does not look good.
There's your advice, and you're from a 35-year-old white male. 34-year-old white male. He just mansplained.
That's not mansplaining.
Yeah, but we want views. That's what we gotta say. We gotta say mansplaining.
Okay. Sean mansplains his way to offending women. There's your podcast.
There's the title. All right, question of the day, my friend. Came up with it 5 seconds ago, and it was completely because of something you said. Would you rather, and I've already posted on Twitter, would you rather be Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan?
Well, I think it's an easy answer. Although people are gonna debate this because Tiger's a damn legend. I think the easy answer is MJ, just because there's less controversy in his life.
I mean, people believe that he's the reason his father was killed.
That's true. But nobody it's not like
what Tiger's
like
down to.
Tiger's been so public with all of his transgressions. Clearly, nobody is fazed by them. But I think that to me, and I'm just a basketball guy. I love MJ. There's so many reasons to pick Tiger Woods.
Oh,
the longevity of his career.
Him walking down that fairway. It's like the closest thing we've seen to Jesus Christ.
I mean, you're really not wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. Him walking down that fairway, the most insane scene. Like people are losing their minds over this man. Yeah.
I mean, he's. Oh, who would you say? I'm initially going to say Tiger, or I'm initially going to say Michael Jordan, but I'm not going to say Tiger Woods.
Like Michael Jordan. I mean, he has less. He did have controversy, of course. He had less. I mean, he's a billionaire because of the Jordan brand.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain moments, like, okay, the biggest moment that I can think of for Michael Jordan, you have two. You have one, the I'm back, like everyone.
So savage.
And then the shot against the Jazz. The crossover,
which, by the way, I did that
too.
I did that when I was in Utah when we were playing the Jazz. I went onto the court like hours before the game. And I went down to the part of the court where he did the move. And first of all, like I was just reenacting. I was just like, I wanted to do the Jordan move, right? Like at the spot where he did it. And first of all, I never felt less athletic. Like as a Division I basketball player, that was hard as hell. Like a cross step back. There wasn't even no defenders. It took me like 14 shots to make it. But I was not leaving that damn gym until I made it.
But you have that, you have the flu game, and then you have the I'm back.
Right.
Unbelievable times. Like those are really cool. I mean, you're fucking Michael Jordan. But it's Tiger, the chip at the Masters. Like there's
so let's talk about that then, because what we're really talking about is who's had like the highest highs, right? So because I'm starting to think about like I don't know how happy of a person Tiger Woods is, even Michael Jordan. Like, are you just always pissed off at people and trying to find competition? Like, so let's get out of the psychology side of it. Who's had higher highs?
I think Tiger, for the main purpose, is that his career, like the way golf works, is he is like you're in the crowd. Like Michael.
Okay, so let's do shot for shot.
Okay,
I'll do Michael, you do Tiger, like highest of highs.
Okay,
I think Tiger's going to kill it. I think Tiger's going to blow him out. What do you got? Name one.
Name a moment for Tiger.
Yeah, name a moment for Tiger.
I mean, the one that comes to mind right now, we'll start from earlier on his career, is that chip at the Masters.
Okay, so I'll say his final shot.
The final shot and the chip at the Masters, I think, are fairly equal. Because, I mean, I might even give the edge to Michael there because you're winning a championship. Like, Tiger ended up winning the Masters that year. Like, I'm going to throw
my hat in. It's Tiger Woods. There's no. I'm thinking about it here, and I'm like winning the dunk contest in '86.
In the conversation.
Yeah, like he's got maybe the game-winning shot against the Cavs, against Craig Elo. I mean, he's had like these individual moments in the games, but they pale in comparison to just how golf is, right? I don't know that Tiger Woods has ever gone into a golf tournament where the entire crowd did not want him to win. Where Michael Jordan go to Utah and people are, cheering against him, right? So like the last shot in Utah was probably less exciting because the crowd got quiet, as opposed to Tiger Woods' chip at the Masters, probably registered on the Richter scale.
The thing that you have with Tiger, one, I think it's a phenomenal point about how you go somewhere and people are rooting against you, although that is a lot of fun.
It is.
To be the.
It's not as electric though.
The thing with Tiger is that when he was in his prime, even now when he's not in his prime, if he's in a tournament and the Tiger Red comes out on Sunday, it's the I'm back every weekend. Like it's so different. Like if he's making a run on Sunday, like he hits a shot from 160 out and puts it 3 feet.
Yeah.
Like every golfer on the course knows something just happened and knows it was Tiger fucking Woods.
And they used to say that they would see like the leaderboard because they don't know who's like, they don't have real time. So they get around to like the turn and that's where the leaderboard is. And they see the guy like taking Woods from here and put him up here. This kind of make you shake in your boots, man.
It has to. I mean, you're Tiger Woods. And when you
have to feel invincible.
Yeah. And every tournament this guy plays in, no matter what golfer you are, when you go sit down at the press conference, you're giving an aspect about Tiger Woods.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Like, he's just something that we haven't seen before in other sports. And so although the easy answer here is to be Michael Jordan and you have less controversy, you're a fucking billionaire, like you're Michael Jordan. As you know, you're the guy. You don't have the car accident. You don't have the cheating scandal. Although he had the gambling stuff, you don't have all this other stuff that goes around Tiger.
Right.
If you sit there and you talk about the highs of Tiger's career, coming back and winning the Masters and having the entire world around you.
I know. If you could pick any, like you could steal one of his like memories and like go in and be that, like have that moment for yourself. Which one would you take?
That's a tough question. If I could have one moment in Tiger's career, I think I'm taking Sunday at the Masters, his win back. The one he won when he came
like
back.
that walk up to the clubhouse.
Like,
remember the announcer, he says, "This is the greatest scene in golf ever."
Yeah, it is. Like, I think that's what I take because of the comeback story. Although that chip at the Masters early in his career was insane.
Bro, can we briefly discuss like how the chip at the Masters, I believe, was on 16? Dude, I'm stepping on the tee box at 17 at 156 beats per minute after
minimum.
How do you settle yourself down and hit a golf shot? I have spaghetti arms. I know. I would take
this is the psychology of this, Sean. And this is what I like to talk a lot about because I'm an athlete. You're an athlete, although you don't always seem to look like one when you play golf. My golf game is it's not completely, but almost completely reliant upon the players I'm playing with. I go out, and if I play with a guy who's really good, say I play with 3 guys, they're all pretty solid, they're hitting the ball well, my score is going to be higher because I feel as though I'm probably the worst guy in the foursome, and so I play as such.
Yeah.
Although when I go out, I went out the other day, and AC is a better golfer than I am. He's more consistent than I am.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. The 2 other guys we were playing with were worse than me. And I knew that they're not athletes. And sometimes I forget that I used to play for the Red Sox. I am a pretty good athlete. I forget that sometimes. I go out there thinking these guys are going to be way better golfers than they are, and they're not. But I go out and I play Winged Foot, which is a PGA course. Phenomenal. We play the West course, which is where the PGA is played. And I shoot an 87. Like, the psychology of, and this is what we talk about when going on to the next tee box after smoking that chip, is you're walking up there, as the kids say nowadays, big dick energy. You're walking up. You're the
huge.
Guy. You're the guy, and
yeah,
everyone's watching you, and you feel that, and you feed off it. And that's what I think. That's the whole thing with Sunday Red, is that when he's coming onto the scene, he knows not only is everyone watching him, but he knows that every other golfer on that course is nervous that Tiger's coming. And that you just feed off that.
You can, well, I think it was so amazing. I mean, I really want to study this. And I'm like, I've actually been kind of trying to study this. If Tiger Woods, I'm in a boardroom at this hotel right now. If Tiger Woods walked into the lobby, I would feel something like here. Like I would feel something different. Like before I ever knew what was happening. Like before anybody, like I would, like things would happen. And like when Tiger like shows up to the course, like there's no doubt in energy. Like you feel his like gravity of him being there. I mean, for years, his mind was Fort Knox. Like it was just impenetrable and everything. I mean, literally he's the perfect storm of, and I really don't know if we will ever see another athlete like this, just because of how perfect it all is. Everything, just how different he is, how unique he is. He's one of the only black golfers out there. Sunday Red. His name is Tiger. He's shitting on people. I mean, like, and just massacring and fist pumping and bringing that electricity to golf. I just don't know if I really don't know if you can find another guy like that.
The thing with Tiger, and this is, people talk about the scandal he had with the cheating and all of that. You mentioned right there that his mind was Fort Knox. I think the thing that people don't always realize was it was not the distraction of him cheating and his wife catching him, all that. It was not the distraction that turned Tiger into what we see now, where he's not what he was. Sure. It was almost like the snap of, the flip of a switch, or the snap of the fingers. What I was going to say, but flip of the switch is better. The thing that, and this is just purely my opinion from a former pro athlete who was very good at what he did, and then all of a sudden was horrendous, like he couldn't pitch against kindergartners. From a guy who had that, to me, the reason why Tiger started struggling after the cheating scandal was not, again, because of the distraction. It was because it was the first time he has ever felt as though he's not invincible.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You had this guy who, a guy was winning like 17 majors a year, and there were only like 4 in the year. He was somehow coming out with more. He was winning tournaments. And like, oh, that's a major.
The Buick Open. Yeah, that's a major.
That's a major. That's a major. Like the things that he was doing, it was unfathomable. And this is why I think he won the Masters. I think I don't think it's coincidence that the first major he wins back, and the only major he's won since, was the Masters at Augusta. It's because he has to feel that invincibility that he once had in order to do that. And the things that surround the Masters and being at Augusta and everyone just wanting him so bad, I think that's what played into the role of him winning. Also plays into the role of the other golfers being like, oh shit, it's Tiger, and he's doing well at Augusta.
And you watched those. It was Tony Finau and Francesco Molinari. Was it? Yeah, it was Molinari.
Finau crumbled big time.
Yeah, and they both put it in the drink back to back, and Tiger when Tiger stuck it on the green, everybody knew what was about to happen. I mean, so you're going to say, so back to what we were talking about is, so you said you would take the walk up or the final, the last time you won the Masters, the final putt or just the whole 18 up to the clubhouse.
If I can get the round, I'm taking the round.
We'll give you the round.
Thank you. I want the round.
I would say, I mean, that is just so good. I would say that I have 3 in my mind. Obviously that one is up there, but I'll just throw another one in just for the podcast. I would say the walk up 18 at like the Arnold Palmer Classic or whatever. I think it was like his first win after like all of the shit hit the fan. So I like that. And that is just pandemonium, I mean, that is something else.
The only reason I'm not choosing it,
it's just because it's like the Arnold Palmer. I know.
But it's like that, to be walking in that crowd and feel that energy.
Oh my God. Can you imagine like how just absolute, like invincible and just the absolute man, the confidence he has with everyone just around him like that, just trying to get a piece of Tiger.
I can't imagine. I literally can't
No,
imagine.
I really can't either. So I would say that, obviously the chip at the Masters, I think that's my front runner, but I also want to say that I think it was the 2008 U.S. Open where he won with a torn ACL.
I remember that. And that one didn't he swish a chip from the bunker or something like that too?
It was like a one bounce in. Yeah. But he had, correct me, I don't know, and I mean, you're not going to know either, but I know he had I think it was on 18 or 17 or 18 to force a playoff. He had a freaking marathon putt that was a real curvy putt. And he sunk it, and it was just one of the most electric fist pumps. That poor guy, I always feel so bad for that guy, Rocco Mediate, who he went to the playoff with. It was probably his only chance to win a major, and Tiger put on the show of all shows. I will say the chip at the Masters just because of the history of it. But I will tell you, there is zero chance of me hitting anything remotely decent on 17 after that.
Yeah, I mean, I probably pick Michael Jordan, but if it wasn't for the car accident, I think I'd pick Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I think if we were really having to switch shoes, I'm going Michael Jordan, just because I actually do think that Tiger has a lot of demons, and I don't think I think that there's a lot of crap that I feel like there's a lot of discontent and unhappiness.
How about this? Here's a better question.
Okay.
Take away the outside world. Anything that's happened in the outside world, take it away. Tiger
Woods, sports career,
just a sports career. It's tough to do with Tiger because a huge part of his sports career is the outside world, and the reason why we love that win at Augusta is that cool. If all the other shit doesn't happen.
Yes, agreed. So I think that it's you know what else is hard for me is the fact that it's like Tiger's career is 30 years long.
Yeah.
And I think Michael played for 13 seasons or something like that. And it was just nonstop electricity for Michael, whereas it's been a real roller coaster. I'm going to take Tiger because I think there's more joy in overcoming than there is in just constantly sitting at the top.
Yeah. The thing that when you talk about the sports career that with Michael, Michael, when he played for the Wizards, right?
Yeah.
It's borderline embarrassing. It wasn't, the thing about when you talk about golf or basketball is you really can age out of basketball.
Yes.
You get to a point where you just can't do what those guys are doing anymore.
Right.
Whereas golf, you still have one of the guys, I forget what his name is, it Fred Couples, who's
yeah, I was going to say it had to be Fred. Yeah.
And he's still playing on the tour.
Right.
He's not winning anything, but he can still be out there and not embarrass himself.
Tiger Woods is 45. Phil Mickelson's got to be pushing 50.
But if a 68-year-old Michael Jordan walked on with the Bulls, there's going to be some problems out there.
He's on record in the last couple of years saying he would get 15 and 10. He would be averaging, or 15 and 6. He would average that right now in the NBA.
I will never. If Michael says
you can't say no.
Michael says he probably.
I actually do believe that. I think that conditioning would be a problem.
That's assists maybe.
Not 10. I would say he could get 15 and 5. But he's definitely going to score because especially the way the NBA is now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to score. I just don't think he's going to be bruising it down there in the rebounds.
No. He's
maybe.
Playing old man at the YMCA.
Yeah, exactly. Only he's Michael fucking Jordan. A little bit different than the old man at the YMCA, but we'll come back to that towards the end. The biggest thing in sports right now, we go to the next thing, which is our what's trending portion of the podcast. The biggest thing in sports right now, and I know you haven't seen it, Sean, because you haven't done this. And we are probably going to have controversial takes here.
Okay.
Because we're going to say what's right. But people aren't going to love it.
Fair enough. I'm used to that.
U.S. soccer.
Mm.
A landmark labor deal that guarantee men's and women's teams get paid the same amount and have equal amounts in prize money.
I saw the headline. I did not click on the article.
So I clicked on the article. Give
me the description of what you read.
So here's the thing. I'll read you the lead paragraph. That's really all you need to know is from based off what I've read. I didn't buy the article, so you can't read it all. But for the first time, soccer players representing the United States men's and women's national teams will receive the same pay and prize money, including at World Cups, which is a weird way of saying that, under landmark agreements with the U.S. Soccer Federation that will end years of litigation and bitter public disputes over what constitutes equal pay. The revised pay structures are part of collective bargaining agreements with each team announced Wednesday, 3 months after a group of top women's players settled a gender discrimination lawsuit against U.S. Soccer, and 6 months before the men's team is scheduled to take the field at the World Cup in Qatar. Now, here's my thing, and both you and I are entrepreneurs. We're business people. It might be unpopular. It certainly might be. But at the end of the day, I'm going to pay you what I can afford to pay you and still run my business. Now, as a businessman, am I certainly going to try to get you as low as I can get you? Of course. That's just business. That's capitalism. But the thing that I want other people to understand, and what I think would be quote unquote, and I have not read this, and maybe it is in this. I mean, you have to pay for the article. I'm not paying for the article. I don't care that much. But if you're telling me the prize money for the women's, let's say, is 10 million, the prize money for the men's is say 20. Let's just say arbitrary numbers. Mm-hmm. If the men are getting, let's say, 40% of the prize money while the rest goes to the federation, and the women are getting 20% of their prize money, then okay, let's talk not discrimination. I don't think it's discrimination. I think it's just negotiating, and you weren't as good as the guys were in getting this.
Sure.
But if you want to fight that, go ahead. But if you're saying that the men are getting paid $10 million, say they're getting 50%, which is all of the prize money from the women's, and you want 10 million, which is 100%. I think you're being unfair.
Yeah.
So again, there's a tremendous amount behind this, and diving into exactly what the equal pay is and all that stuff. What I will say is what I've seen from the women's side and what they've come out and spoken about.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't make any sense.
I think they have. Wrong. I think that they have. And again, I will preface this by saying I have not really researched it all that much. When it was hot for a while there, I think in the last World Cup, I was more interested in understanding logistics. As an entrepreneur, men, women, I don't care. There's no effect on me. To me, it's the bottom line of the business. It kind of reminds me of the whole NIL, name, image, likeness happening in college right now. And what's happening is these kids go to, they go play basketball at, I don't know, Virginia Tech, and they're a very good basketball player, and they go there with the dreams that they're going to be making $1 million a year in NIL, or $500,000 or $100,000 even, and they don't make anything. They make $1,000 a semester or something. And the reason, what people don't really get, at least those kids are not understanding, is you have a value in the marketplace. You have to bring some sort of value to the table. And, it's very cut and dry with the numbers. I will say that there's unlikely, or a very small percentage of business people that will not pay the women if they were going to bring in more money. I think we're really looking at the legit, the actual just black and white numbers of the entire thing, at least from what I've learned. So I think that their original argument didn't carry much weight, just because I feel like they were asking for something that was unreasonable. And again, it had nothing to do with men or women. It's just the money that is in your sport and in your World Cup. I think the men's World Cup was bringing in over $1 billion, and the women's was like 300 million total. Those numbers are off, but it was a big disparity. So yeah. So like, and again, like you look at like the WNBA versus the NBA, you can't like the NBA is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, whereas the WNBA is nothing even close. I'm sorry. Yes, it is. It's too bad. But you have to let's find a way to get people to come to the games. Let's be creative with that. We got to find a way to make this more profitable. Again, the only thing that matters is the revenue. The last thing I'll say is, and I'll give them all credit here, is if this decision was collectively bargained, then hell yeah, then you nailed it. And if we're all on the same page and we all agree, and we've signed on for this CBA, then yeah, great, you did it. You deserve it. You've achieved something, and I think all the other stuff goes out the window, and you have agreed to something, and that is right. You succeeded in that.
And the thing, and I'm now reading all of the article, and again, it's to me. So let me give some context here. The way the deal is structured now is that both pools, men's and women's, which no other country has ever done. To be a little preface there. Both pools are just put together in one big pool, and everyone gets paid out equally.
Right.
What they have said in the article is a huge concession by the men's team.
Yeah. I mean,
am I wrong, Sean, in thinking if I'm a woman, I just feel like I'm getting a handout. It's a charity case. The U.S. Federation didn't do anything. U.S. Federation said, "Screw you! We aren't making enough money to pay what you want. If the men's want to just put it all in one, and then we'll take from them and give it to you."
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that
charity case.
I'd be interested to hear their case. Like in terms of like what the soccer federation is all about. But it is a handout. It is. If it's collectively bargained, I won't say that it's undeserved because I'm sure you worked to do that. But I would, if I'm a man, I'm adamantly against that.
Yes,
which turns out I am a man.
You're stealing from me so that you can get paid more that, in my opinion, you don't deserve. The women's team is far superior to the men's team.
Yeah,
but there's money. If you just look at it, black and white business. If you say business A and business B, and these employees want this because they're making $1 billion, and these employees want this, and they're only making 300 million. If you're an entrepreneur, you're owning a business, you're going to look and be like, I can't afford to pay him that from this pool because I don't have enough money to do it.
Yeah, you look
if
at
the $1 billion company wants to help me, which is exactly what happened here. Then sure, I'll pay him that.
I think it would be valuable. I think it would be really valuable for people interested in this space to like read like a Rule 1 investing or something like that, or just like, because the way that like business decisions and like financial revenue decisions get made is you're just looking at a piece of paper with numbers on it. There's no context to the numbers. You're trying to see, the worth of the value of the business, like how well they invest their money and are able to grow it. From my end, I look at, you want to have like your labor should be like a certain percentage of your revenue. If it falls outside of that, you're putting the business in jeopardy. But again, I will fall short of saying that it is undeserved or a handout just because they did collectively bargain it. I would not have wanted to agree to that as if I was on the men's team. I don't understand how that got through.
If I'm the women, I don't. Sure, I'll make a little more money because of the men, but like, I don't know. Exactly what you're trying to avoid.
Yeah, I don't understand how they don't see that. And just how anybody doesn't see that. Yeah,
you didn't win here. You just sat there, you bitched and moaned enough so that the men finally like, okay, just take some of ours.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense to me. You're what you've agreed to as this big win. And again, I haven't seen any of the players come out and say it's a big win. So maybe they're just as pissy back behind the scenes too, and being like,
I'm sure there are.
Who knows? The way they don't seem to understand basic business.
Well, they don't.
I won't say that they are bitchy behind the scenes because again, they don't seem to understand it. They don't seem to understand that you've only brought in this, so we can only pay you this. Like,
I don't see what I've always felt that way. I don't understand how you are not looking at the numbers of like where, like, I think there's also the sense of unlimited money from the top, right? Like it's the sense that we have where there's these rich billionaires and millionaires and whatever who just are hoarding the money for themselves and not paying, the people who deserve it, which is a absolutely hideous argument. The numbers speak for themselves, and that truly should be the only thing that you look at.
Yeah, I agree with you. And
it's the only way to be really fair.
No, yeah, right. And listen, business is business, and I don't take anything personally in business. If you want to use anything you want to use and try to take more money from me, I'm here for it. I'm going to do the same with you. But if you're using the gender stuff to try to get more money, fine. Go for it. Yeah. Like if you want to, if your play here from all the lawyers on the women's side are being like, listen, this is what we have to hammer home PR wise to try to get them to budge. I'm in. Go for it. And if that's the play, and you do actually understand the business aspect of it, you're like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to hammer this home to make you look as bad as possible in the media, so that you budge on it. I'm in. Go for it. God bless you. Because the owners are going to do the same thing right back at you, and and don't think that they're these people that are like, oh, I can't believe you treating me unfairly. No, they're going to fucking try to crush you in the media too. So go for it. And I've been adamant about that on the players' side for Major League Baseball, that they don't play the same PR game. They're playing chess versus checkers when the owners go in the PR world. They crush the players in PR. So I'm in if that's what it is, and I don't know the behind the scenes, so maybe that is what they're doing. But at the end of the day, when you're just looking from a purely business standpoint, to me, if I'm a player on the women's team, I think I just got a handout from the men.
I would not. It's not honorable.
No, it's not. You didn't win anything here. The U.S. Federation is still going to make just as much money. The men are just going to take a pay cut so that you can make more money. And if you accept it, they've accepted it. If you accept it, you accept it. But to me, it feels cheap. He just took money out of someone else's pocket that they've earned that money. I don't care what you say. I enjoy watching the Men's World Cup in hopes the U.S. team wins it. I also love watching the Women's World Cup because our team is nasty.
Yeah,
I love watching it, but just not as many people do.
Yeah.
So you can't. If you're only going to bring in so much money, you can only make a certain amount of money. So that's why I would respect the hell. And if I heard it's just a PR move, then all right, I get it. But if behind the scenes, if you're saying we get paid a lesser percentage of the pool than the men do, then you have a legitimate thought of equal pay and all that stuff, and let's get after it. But until I hear that, which again, it's not going to come out now because they just took money from the men's team.
Right.
I have nothing for you. So it's a little cheap in my world. If everyone seems, I'm sure not everyone's happy. I bet you a lot of people are unhappy, especially on the men's side. But it is what it is at this point. There's nothing else to really talk about from that side. I think it's cheap. But moving on, guys. Moving on. And you hear my sigh because we're about to talk about baseball. One, we did this podcast last week. This week, there's no different. The Yankees are really good.
Yes, they really are.
The Yankees are really, really, really good. When we're talking, and this is why I actually had this conversation last night with a few friends, when we're sitting here talking about Nestor Cortez more than we're talking about Garrett Cole, guys,
nasty
there is
Nestor.
A huge problem for the rest of the teams in the AL East.
Man.
We have a huge problem on our hands. Right now, it looks like the Yankees might run away with the AL East. In my opinion, the toughest division in baseball. And it's historically the toughest division in baseball. They just don't seem to know how to lose.
They're hot. They're so hot.
What is their record right now is 27-9. They are the last team in baseball with single-digit losses. The next closest right now we have, it looks like, next closest we have is the Dodgers at 12 losses. The Dodgers have a better run differential, it's the best run differential in baseball at plus 81. The Yankees are at plus 74. But we're in May, and I don't think people understand this. We're in May in the toughest division in baseball, and they have a 5.5 game lead on the second place team, the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't think people understand to have a 5.5 game lead in May is outrageous.
Yeah, they're good.
Outrageous. You're talking about the only team that has a better run, a better lead on the division is the Mets, another New York team. They have a 6 game lead on Miami and Philly, but to have a 5.5 game lead on what I assumed, and you guys heard me talk about it constantly on the podcast, that I thought the AL East this year, they were just all going to beat up on each other. And we still could get there. It's still early. But we have a product now that we've seen over a month and a half of baseball. And if they continue on this path, I mean, you're talking about possibly winning the division by 20 games. I mean, granted, it's
they're elite.
Not going to happen. But that's what they're on pace for. It's out. They have 3 guys over in double-digit home runs in mid-May.
I know. I've seen Stanton hit a bunch. Judge hit 2 last night.
Judge had a 4-hit game last night. You got a guy hitting for average and also hitting bombs.
I mean, they're just the energy in that clubhouse.
Baseball, right? You don't see that baseball right now. In baseball, now it's you're like a Giancarlo Stanton, who I think is still hitting pretty well right now. But you typically see nowadays the strikeout homer guy like Joey Gallo. That's what you typically see nowadays. You don't see a guy hitting 330 and also leading the league in homers. That's just not something you see. I think you said you got Anthony Rizzo with 10. I think Giancarlo has 12. I think Judge has 14 or something like that. It's what you're seeing in New York is outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, they're incredibly fun to watch right now. I mean, there's so much energy and so much pop with everything. I mean, every time somebody steps up to the plate, you think he's gonna crush one. And I'll say, and I know I said this not a couple months ago, but a couple weeks ago. I don't really think we're there anymore. I think we've seen a lot of baseball now, and I think we know what's happening now. I think everybody's cards are now on the table. We've seen, what was their record? 27-9.
Yeah.
So we've seen almost 40 games. We've seen enough baseball to know for damn sure what this season is going to look like. We're unlikely to see massive shifts in a team going forward. The Yankees are so hot, and they've been hot the whole time. It's just a good time to be a Yankee fan. I've watched more games this year than I have in all the other years combined, for mostly because I have the channel now. But still, it is true.
It's the way they're playing. Like, and keep in mind, I'm a Jersey guy, as you know, Sean. Most everyone knows on the podcast. I got to tell you, for business, I love that the Yankees are playing this well, because you have a different type of buzz. I mean, it's great that the Mets are playing well too. I mean, to have the 2 best teams in baseball be the Mets and Yankees, I'm okay with. But to have this right now, I mean, like you said, there hasn't been a better time to be a Yankee fan in May in the last decade, probably. Like this is you're talking about, a possibly historic run here for the Yankees if they continue this pace. I mean, they're on pace to win 120 games. I mean, this is outrageous type stuff. Like I said, I mean, the Red Sox, although they've underperformed, I actually think they will perform better throughout the year. They're a wild card team at best right now, and the reason they're a wild card team at best is not because they're out 13 games from the Yankees.
Holy shit!
They're just not good enough to compete with this Yankee team.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. Like, again, I'm a Red Sox guy by heart. I love the team. I think that if they put things together, which they have recently, in a better way, that they will compete for a wild card. And they have a lot of work to do, but I think they will. They had a horrendous April. I don't think they have that worse of a month the rest of the season. And if they get Sale back, you're looking at a better club. But there's no competing with this Yankee team right now.
Yeah, they're as good as it gets.
It just isn't. And then you talk about possibly adding a piece at the deadline. I mean, we're far away from the deadline, but to add someone to this team, it is a remarkable team. And you go out and add a piece. I mean, you're talking, and again, I remember we talked early in the year, Sean, about, possibly buying prospects if you're the Twins, and because you went and got Correa.
Mm-hmm.
The Twins are in first place in the AL Central. They're not selling Correa, at least not right now. But it's I don't know who they go get. But if they go and add a piece at the deadline, I mean, this team is, outrageous.
Yeah.
And you tell me you make this kind of run, and you're not going to sign Aaron Judge at the end of the year?
Oh, well, we know what's going to happen there now. It'll be
Aaron Judge.
They'd be massacred.
I don't know who Aaron Judge's agent is, but they are absolutely licking their chops.
They should be trying to get a deal now.
Yeah, you should be, because it's one thing if Aaron Judge is having a career year and the team sucks. It's a whole nother ball game if they're having a career year and they might win the World Series. You're fucked if you're the Yankees.
Well, they're going to have to pay him. He has to be. I mean, at this
he might be the highest paid player in baseball.
He will have to. They will have no other choice but to sign him to a career contract.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah, they'll give him a 10-year deal or something.
Oh my God, Matt, to be Aaron Judge right now, and just absolutely living the dream. I'm sure he's got some beautiful penthouse in Manhattan. Maybe not penthouse, because penthouses in Manhattan actually cost way more money than Aaron Judge is making.
He's starting to look at him.
Yes, that's the thing. That's another thing people don't quite get. I don't know that you get in New York City. Like, it's not the other cities. Like, if you're the best player for the Yankees, you're still, you might not even be top 100 in earnings for that year in New York City for them and these guys. These guys.
Oh no, you're not even close. No, I just saw a thing that there was like, let's say there was like 100 and something, like 100. New York leads the world in most billionaires, and it was like 120 or something like that.
Yeah. So that's something to consider when we're talking about this. But you're just absolutely licking your chops. If you're Aaron Judge, you're the king of New York. You're walking around doing whatever the hell you want. You're about to sign probably a career deal. That's tough to say. Career deal at the end of the season. If you go and win a World Series, you know how much money this guy's going to bring in.
I mean, he's going to get it no matter what.
So I don't feel bad for the Yankees that they're going to have to do this. They're going to make so much money.
Yeah, and they're actually getting a discount because they're not having to pay him that restructured contract this year.
So, again, great time to be a Yankee fan. Horrendous time to be a Red Sox fan. Listen, the Red Sox had a good run, and they still a quality club, but they have a lot of question marks coming up at the end of this year. Evaldi's a free agent. Xander's a free agent. Devers, you want to sign to a long-term deal because that, he's possibly, him and Xander should be the face of your franchise or for moving forward. If you end up signing Xander, I don't know how you don't. But they didn't. They sent Mookie away. So, and if they continue on this path, and they're, at this rate, a month and a half in, another month and a half, they'll be 26 games back. You're probably, if you want to, you might sell the deadline. And a guy like Xander, and you're talking about a similar thing that happened to John Lester back in the day, where they said that they're going to trade him away and then they're going to go re-sign him in free agency to get some pieces. I don't. If it does the same thing the way Lester did it, you never get Lester back. You never get Xander back. But Xander is a Boris guy, and he should get paid the way a top shortstop in the league should get paid. So if the Red Sox don't want to do that, someone else is certainly going to do it. And honestly, it could be the Yankees. But look around the rest of baseball. You have the Mets doing well. Still doing well, although they're 5-5 in the last 10. Solid run differential, and they're really only competing. I mean, they're competing with a Miami team that's below 500, a Philly team that's below 500, an Atlanta team that's below 500. I mean, they're the only team in the division that is above 500 record, which tells you a little bit more about the NL East. Very different from the AL East. The Dodgers, as always, look fantastic. San Diego's playing well. San Francisco's playing well. I don't know where the San Francisco Giants team come from.
How my Diamondbacks looking?
Better than usual.
What do we got?
18-20, 4-6 in their last 10. But they're on a 5-game losing streak. So they have
18-20 on a 5-game skid.
Yeah, they have a sneaky, like one of the best ERAs in baseball. At least that's what I heard. I haven't looked at it. I mean, the worst team in baseball, and I don't think it's even close as I look here. Yeah, the worst team in baseball.
Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati. Although they don't have the worst run differential in baseball.
They just lost a game. They just threw a no-hitter and lost.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But they have a negative 64 run differential. The team who's won 5 more games than them, Pittsburgh, in the same division, is negative 72. So when Pittsburgh loses, they lose big.
Yikes.
And when they win very small. So, I mean, again, look around baseball here. The Yankees are by far the best team in baseball. The Dodgers and Mets are the teams that might be close to them as far as actually winning ball games. Houston's a good team. They just beat the shit out of the Red Sox last night with 5 home runs, which, again, an anomaly, Red Sox fans. You guys listening, don't worry about Nathan Eovaldi. He's a great pitcher. He's an ace in baseball. When you lose like this, you lose like that. Shit's going to happen. They're not going to have great stuff every outing. And he's certainly not going to give up 5 home runs in 1 inning every outing. I don't know if he gave up all 5. I can't remember, but
yeah, he did.
Don't worry about it. It is what it is. Those things happen. I mean, I know you don't want to compare Nathan Eovaldi to me. That's probably a bad look for your team, but stuff like that happens. But there's just no one competing with the Yankees right now. They're having fun. They're crushing baseballs and they're pitching the shit out of it.
Good times to be a Yankee fan. Yeah,
great times to be a Yankee fan, guys. That's all I have for it. Let's go back to the question of the day. What do you think the results are, Sean? You got to guess. You think it's
Tiger
Jordan no matter what, or do you think it's Tiger?
It's going to be landslide Tiger.
Tiger.
Michael Jordan is becoming a Gramps now, and I think your audience is a little younger.
Let's see here. I'll read. We have only 2 comments. 2 comments. The first comment we have from Furio Danucci. I hope I pronounced that right. Actually, I don't really care if I pronounce that right. Not even a question. Jordan is considered the GOAT of all GOATs, owns an amazing shoe brand, an NBA team, NASCAR drivers, and is a badass golfer in his own right. The Furio wants Jordan. Richard Jr., Richie C2588, said Michael had the money, but Tiger may be the most influential athlete, which I agree.
I think so.
I think Tiger is the most influential athlete. We have 187 votes, 6 minutes left in the poll. And we have another blowout, folks. And it's in favor of Michael Jordan. 71% Michael Jordan, 29% Tiger Woods. And I really think
got to be the transgressions.
I think it has to be. You have you have so much in the public eye. Although the highs are better than the highs of Michael, in my opinion, I think if you really go into the highs of both, I think everyone would agree that Tiger's highs are better.
Yeah,
his longevity is better, but. Michael just had a cleaner career.
Yeah.
Especially, and you say if you're talking about a younger audience, and with me, even his transgressions. You talk about when he did, a lot of the talk in the documentary. They talked about how he didn't come out vehemently against some of the stuff in the Republican Party and
right.
Talk about being a Democrat or whatever. I don't know what politically he does. And there was always that saying that he said that he denied saying in the documentary that Republicans buy shoes too.
Yeah.
So even the transgressions, I think, are long past in the minds of my audience.
Definitely.
Tiger is still at the forefront, so you still hear about it all the time.
Right.
Again, I think Michael Jordan's the easy answer if you just want a nice life.
Yes, which most people I think want.
Yes, I think if you're talking about having a nice life and be Michael Jordan billionaire, I think I'd choose that life. Those highs though with Tiger though are tough to turn down.
I know he's had such brutal lows though.
Yes, some of the worst lows. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you joining as always. Michael Jordan, the winner for the Sorry We're Closed this week. Sean, enjoy Nashville.
I certainly will.
And until next time, guys.
Adios.
Sorry, we're closed.